So, assuming there are no specials, given that they're one item, I want to let the public know before I turn it over to the city attorney and the clerk to open up for public comment. We, at this moment, have 126 names on the list. That means about 90 minutes of public comment, which would take us to about 11:45. Let's call it noon. So folks should plan to be here till noon. We're going to close the public comment list. So as people come, we're not going to keep adding names. We're going to reward the folks who got here for the start of our meeting. And with that, I'll turn it over to the city attorney and the clerk.
Porque vamos a pausar el reloj mientras se hace la interpretación.
Thank you.
Gracias.
And I'm also informed that we have a Korean language interpreter here as well.
My name's Judith Serlin. I'm from the Teamsters. I wanted to take my minute to thank you for funding the Crossing Guard program. We did hear your message, however. As Teamsters, our members are part-time intermittent workers. They're covered by contract and not by civil service. However, they are city employees, some as many as 38 years. That should be recognized by the council. They're grateful for the hours they work, which affords them housing and the food they put on their plates. Their stories are worth hearing. Maria Lopez became a crossing guard because her daughter was killed when she was walking to school. Maria became a crossing guard to make sure this didn't happen to anyone else, but it underscores two important parts: public safety and liability costs. The city is assigned streets or corners by how dangerous they are. City council members have asked that guards be assigned to specific corners. Again, we're looking at public safety, we're looking at liability costs. Liability cost is a concern to everyone here. Thank you.
Buen día, mi nombre es Jaslyn Giselle Johnson. Soy una persona HIV positiva. Si hay un recorte de
Permítame un momento.
medicamentos.
Good morning. I am an HIV positive person. If there are cutting costs for the medicines, continúe, por favor.
La comunidad LGBTI como mujer transgénero sería una de las personas afectadas. Tengo un esposo que es ciudadano americano y lo cual es indetectable.
Permítame. The trans community and the LGBT community would be affected. I have a husband and he also would be affected.
Y uno de mis temores más grandes y mayores es poder infectar a la demás comunidad y a la sociedad.
One of my biggest fears is to I could infect the other people and community.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dave Riles. I'm a firefighter captain with the LAFD. I'm also a director with United Firefighters Los Angeles City. There is a crisis with the lack of paramedics in the LAFD. We currently have more than 100 paramedic vacancies, and this is a direct impact on our ability to respond to the life and death emergencies in all of your council districts. For example, we have 6 paramedic vacancies at Fire Station 93 in Tarzana, CD3. We have 9 paramedic vacancies at Fire Stations 2, 4, and 9 in CD14. We have 5 vacancies at Fire Station 33 in South Los Angeles that serves CD9 and CD8. And the list goes on. The LAFD has been sending firefighters to paramedic school for decades, and the mayor's budget called for $540,000 to send up to 45 firefighters to paramedic school.
1 minute for general public comment.
But this funding was cut by the Budget Committee. There's paramedic shortage all over California, but especially in the LAFD. Without funding and the constant supply of new firefighters and paramedics, our current crisis will only get worse, and this will have deadly consequences. On behalf of UFLAC and the members we represent, please restore this $540,000 to continue to supply the paramedics needed to protect our communities. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rich Ramirez. I'm a second vice president for Luke. Can you hear me? For UFLAC Local 112, and also a paramedic firefighter for LAFD. I'm here to speak on the mayor's proposed called for a $923 million budget for the LAFD, which was increased and a step in the right direction. Since that time, the City Council Budget Committee made major cuts to the proposal budget, including 11.2 million to eliminate 67 new positions related to the homeless, fire protection, and medical care. About 500,000 to eliminate funding to send LAFD members to paramedic school. A $2 million cut in advanced turnout cleaning and deep cleaning of our fire stations. And in a big surprise, they cut $9.2 million to eliminate current funding for 42 emergency incident technician positions. UFLAC knows that the city is in a budget crisis, but when you compare our funding and staff levels to other big cities, it's half of what it should be. Cutting 42 EIT positions is a huge cut in our operations, as it will hurt our ability to respond to major incidents. EITs play a critical role in assisting incident commanders in all aspects of emergency response, including arriving safety, gaining situational awareness, prior to arrival, coordinating resources, and protecting firefighter safety by helping with radio communications. Cutting $2 million in advanced turnout cleaning and deep cleaning of our stations is dangerous when we know that cancer is the #1 killer in firefighters. Finally, we have a crisis right now with over 100 paramedics vacancies. We cannot cut funding to send our firefighters to paramedic school. We ask for your support from UFLAC. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Item 1 in public comment.
You have 1 minute for each.
All right, thank you. My name is Frank Lima. I'm a current Captain 2 with the LAFD for 33 years and the International Association of Firefighters General Secretary Treasurer. I'm here to walk this council through a little history of the 08-09 budget crisis in the city of LA, where the LAFD took over 334 positions were permanently eliminated from our fire department, and we are still suffering the cuts of that time. We've had 7 trucks closed, only 1's been restored. We've had 11 engines cut, only 8 have been restored, and the ones that have been restored have been on a federal dime in partnership with the IAFF in this city. Now, we have a big crisis at hand. Our most key element of protecting firefighter safety, but more importantly, community safety, is our emergency incident technicians. Now, you've heard from 2 previous speakers, Brother Riles, about the paramedic crisis that we're in this city, and our paramedics are at a point, it's like the LA Kings playing hockey with 1 person in the penalty box. Yeah, you can still play hockey, but you get tired faster, you get less effective, and they are working in conditions where they are forced to work overtime by an employer-caused mandate. The other thing you heard from the previous speaker, our turnouts, the cleanliness of what we do. Firefighting is a Class 1 carcinogen by IARC, and we die a lot faster. There's absolutely no need that this city cannot provide us the health and safety while we're running shorthanded, while we're being forced to work overtime due to the cuts back in 08. Please don't cut us any deeper. Thanks for your consideration.
My name is Gerson. I'm with the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. I'm here today urging your support in continuing the important legal services under the Represent LA program. Represent LA has made significant strides, serving 5,700 immigrants since its launch. As a direct legal services provider to our LA immigrant community, INDEF knows firsthand that the urgency of Represent LA services is greater than ever. The current presidential administration has already attempted to cut off funding for federally funded legal services programs, and as immigrant families come under increasing attack, it is vital that we step in to protect our communities. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning. My name is Sharon DeLugich. I'm speaking on item 1 and general public comment. I serve on the Board of Fire Commissioners. I'm a resident of Council District 1. I'm here to implore the City Council not to make the proposed changes to the mayor's budget as it relates to the fire department. Each of the programs that the department requested and the mayor included in her budget contribute to the safety and health of our city residents and fire department staff. I well understand the horrendous financial situation the city and county and school board and state are in, but some of these cuts will actually contribute to the downward spiral in quality of life that costs more money in the back end. Specifically, I refer to cutting the additional advanced provider rescue units. I spent a day last week riding with AP, which is staffed by a paramedic and a physician's assistant. They're not housed in a fire station, but instead drive around their geographic area. Typically, they handle about 8 to 10 calls a shift, intercepting calls that would otherwise require an ambulance or an engine company, taking care of health-related issues in the moment and on the spot. One such call brought us to the Mayfair Hotel on a suspected overdose. It wasn't an overdose, but the patient, Angel, was covered with wounds and had a huge infection on his arm. Chris and Gretchen, the paramedic and physician's assistant, calmed him down, and Gretchen asked the Weingart staff if there was a private area with a table. In a supply room, Gretchen numbed his arm and proceeded to lance the infection. It took several minutes and many towels, but Angel was calm throughout. Gretchen dressed the wound and instructed both Angel and the caseworkers to keep his arm clean and should be back to change the dressing on Friday. 45 minutes later, from start to finish, we were on our way to the next call. No additional resources, no ambulance, no being stuck in a waiting room, either for the patient or the firefighter, no emergency room. These mobile, nimble, professionally staffed APRUs really are the future of emergency medicine in Los Angeles, and LAFD is on the cutting edge of figuring out how to make it work better and better. As for the EITs, the emergency incident technicians, we are dismayed that new programs were cut, but we're not expecting an additional cut of positions that ensure the safety of firefighters and ultimately city residents as well. As they tell us on every airplane
your
trip,
time has
put
expired.
your own oxygen mask on first before.
Speaker, your time has expired. We have to move on to the next speaker.
Good morning, council members. My name is Brenda Del Rio Gonzalez. I'm coming representing for Transgéneros Unidas for Bienestar. Today, as I'm representing for the transgender immigrants who live in HIV in the Lake County. My concern today is necessary to continue together and expose more funders and more money and representing for this community, LGBT community, specific for the transgender Latina immigrant who live in HIV, because the transgender community continue for the stigma, discrimination. I needed more opportunities for job, substance abuse, mental health, housing, and basically as my face, my voice, and representing for the transgender Latina who live in HIV in LA County. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Angela Kaufman. I'm a 27-year employee, the last original Department on Disability employee and staff member in the city. I'm the past ADA compliance officer, an emergency management disability subject matter expert, nationally certified ASL interpreter, and the only person in the city with the institutional knowledge of the city's history of ADA compliance, lawsuits, investigations, and I'm a person living with a disability, yet I'm now being terminated under this budget. I'm calling for an investigation into the Department on Disability and Stephen David Simon. He has provided wrong information to this council and to the mayor for the last 8 years. There is no legal requirement to redo the ADA transition plan. Councilmember Blumenfeld, I came to you in 2016. You met with me. You put in a motion to help me update the self-evaluation and transition plan. We wouldn't be in the mess we're in today with the Griffin lawsuit had that self-evaluation transition plan been completed and updated. They're asking for $500,000 to complete it. I didn't ask for $500,000. I could complete an update to the ADA self-evaluation and transition plan at no cost to the city. The most egregious and dangerous retaliation against the disability community has been Stephen Simon and James Featherstone's scrapping of $1 million inclusive online emergency management planning tool in 2015 that would have allowed people with disabilities and the public to create their emergency plan online and opt in, especially for people with disabilities, requests for emergency evacuation assistance. I believe Councilmember Blumenfeld, you put in a motion back in 2018 asking for a registry or an investigation into it. We had this developed. It was scrapped and put on a shelf. DOD's contractual failures and lack of knowledge of interpreting in Los Angeles has led to LAPD's failure to provide ASL interpreters for over 64% of requests over a 9-month period, violating previous lawsuit settlements. Each denial could cost up to $50,000. Mr. Simon recently provided incorrect guidance on the city website accessibility deadline. The city is obligated under lawsuits to have our websites accessible.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
My name is Ben Drillings. Good morning, councilmen, members. I'm here to raise serious concern about California Massage Therapy Council. The CMTC is not a state licensing board yet. Our city has made CMTC certification mandatory to practice massage, turning what is supposed to be voluntary private organization into gatekeeper with unchecked power. Despite CMTC promoting itself as a leader in combating human trafficking, California continues to rank #1 in the country for illicit massage businesses. Their model is clearly not working. Yet, cities like ours have made their certification mandatory. We need reform now. The city should allow applicants who want to practice massage to choose between CMTC certification or apply for a city permit to practice. When was the last time you audited CMTC operation? Who is in our city oversees them? On June 2nd, CMTC faces contempt of court proceedings in Sacramento Superior Court. Are you aware that there are multiple lawsuits against CMTC, including discrimination one? This is very important. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm going to speak on public comment and item 1. My name is Joy Richardson, and I'm representing St. Joseph Center. I'm here today to urge to protect and preserve the city's investment in homeless services. We recognize that this is a challenging budget year, but it is precisely the moment like this that we must stay the course. Thank you for sustaining investments and collaboration regarding unsheltered homelessness, and it has declined in the last 2 consecutive years. That's not a coincidence. It's the direct result of funding, investing in evidence-based solutions, outreach, and homeless services that work. Now is not the time to scale back. Cutting critical services would not only reverse our progress, it would cost more in the long run, in human suffering and in dollars. We ask that you, 1, protect the overall homeless services budget, prioritize funding programs that are showing results, signal to frontline workers, service providers, and unhoused Angelenos that the city remains committed to compassionate, data-driven solutions. Thank you for your leadership and partnership. Let's move forward, not backwards. Thank you for not cutting homeless services.
Hello, council members. My name is Carol Rodriguez, and I'm with the Domestic Violence Homeless Services Coalition. Thank you for restoring the $4.4 million for CIFD survivor services. This is truly life-saving. Nearly half of our unhoused neighbors are survivors of domestic violence. For them, shelter isn't just a roof. It's safety, stability, and a chance to begin healing. But this funding must be fully appropriated, not left in reserves. Providers cannot meet the city's expectations without stable, timely support. Survivors can't wait, and we can't serve them in uncertainty. This isn't about city versus county. It's about people who've endured profound trauma and deserve real, immediate support. On behalf of the coalition and the survivors we serve, thank you for standing with them, especially council members Yarosowski, Bloomingfield, Hernandez, Hutt, and McColster. Thank you, as ensuring these resources to reach survivors without delay. Thank you.
My name is Chloe Garcia, and I'm a lifelong CD14 resident here to advocate for keeping the Youth Development Department a standalone department. The youth of our city have been historically underfunded, with only 0.04% of last year's budget going towards youth development. We constantly scrutinize our youth for not participating more in our communities when our own mayor and council members are spewing out lies during their campaigns, promising to uplift and protect our youth, yet quickly turn on their own statements during budget season to protect themselves in their own pockets. We cannot expect our youth to have blind trust and faith in our city and our government leaders when they're not being cared for and will not be invested in yet again. Our youth fight tooth and nail to get opportunities, and it seems like their fight gets harder every day. Do the right thing and invest in the youth of today and tomorrow, and keep the Youth Development Department its own standalone department. Thank you.
I just wanted to share, please try to speak a little bit far away from the mic, because when you talk close to the mic, it just sounds like this and we can't really hear you. So please give yourself some space between yourself and the mic, please. Thank you.
I'll be speaking on item number 1. My name is Megan, and I am a resident of CD 14 who wants your support to keep the Youth Development Department its own department. We cannot have our LA schools competing for funding with other departments since they are already underfunded. This competition will lead to our very vulnerable groups fighting against each other to prioritize their needs over one another, and we do not need more of that. The Invest in Youth Coalition has met with the mayor, and she stated that she would reconsider looking into her proposed consolidation. So I urge you, council members, to please support that the Youth Development Department remain its own department. Our youth are counting on you. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm here to give general public comment on item 1 and speak on prioritizing youth development and safety instead of spending more on the police budget. My name is Jane, and I'm a parent and community member of District 14. Today, I am concerned about our community's budget cuts on youth development program. We have to invest in our youth, and it so happens that the youth is the future. By providing youth development programs, we gain youth reaching their full potential by fostering positive relationships, developing skills, and promoting civic engagement. Youth programs strive to equip young individuals with the tools and resources to gain the confidence and skills to become the effective leader in their community. Addressing social issues, youth programs can be designed to address specific social issues such as poverty, crime by providing resources and support to at-risk youth. We cannot work backwards. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Jorge Nicolás, and I'm here to speak on public comment. I'm here on behalf of CARECEN, the Central American Resource Center, to strongly support the continued funding for the day labor programs. This program was created to address discrimination and exploitation, and it has become a beacon of light in times of darkness, assisting in rapid responses during the pandemic, wildfires, and now amid ongoing attacks on our families from the federal government. It has provided safety, dignity, and opportunity for some of our city's most vulnerable residents. When we provide funding for the day labor program, we stand for justice, resilience, and compassion. Please continue to support this valuable and essential resource. We urge the City of Los Angeles to vote and approve the proposed budget for the Day Labor Center and represent LA. Thank you so much.
I'd like to speak on item 1 and a general comment. My name is Tess Feldman. I'm an immigration attorney. I use she, her pronouns, and I am here to ask that you please approve the proposal to allocate $1 million to the Represent LA Removal Defense Fund to defend immigrant Angelenos in our community. My work is funded by this program, and I cannot tell you enough how strongly it has impacted Los Angeles, the immigrant families I represent, and the nonprofits providing the services for Represent LA. This has become a critical infrastructure as ICE continues to stalk the neighborhoods and communities we care about, arresting Angelenos and their family members here every day. This problem is growing. We know that the Department of Homeland Security and ICE and CBP are focused specifically on immigrants, especially here in LA City and LA County. And over the last few years, this funding has impacted and saved, defended, or protected over 5,075 immigrant families here in LA. Over 100 of them have been my clients, I'm proud to say. We have defended and protected these families before the immigration courts and in detention centers in our own backyards. And we know that ICE continues to come for us here in LA and to come for those who care about us. Cutting immigration services funding in this city at this critical time would be detrimental to all of us who care about this work. We are so grateful for the allocations we've had in the past. And I'd like to speak specifically to how big the impact of this funding has been over the last few years. I am also teaching at Southwestern Law School. I run the Asylum Law Clinic there, and that experience and increased capacity in future lawyers has grown directly out of the funding that has already been allocated to Represent LA. Thank you.
My name is Eva Bitar, and I am the Motion Picture and Television Manager in the Board of Public Works. My position is to assist film production and streamlining the filming process. I serve as the Film LA Contract Administrator and as the citywide film liaison for the film industry. City departments, residents, businesses, and government partners like LA County and the state. My role is to find a common ground among all these parties to film so filming can flourish. I have served in this capacity for nearly 20 years and have the institutional knowledge and have proudly brought the city the 2015 California On Location Award in the category of Public Employee of the Year. Thank you, Councilman Blumenfeld. You gave me a congratulatory plaque for that. I've also received 9 other awards for the line of work I do. My clients nominated me for this professional excellence and creativity in problem-solving, leadership, and outstanding achievement for the vital role I play in helping keep high-quality filming in California. 17 years ago, I established a citywide filming task force that met quarterly, which included liaisons from city departments, city partners, government liaisons, to share in dialogue and understanding how we operate. COVID and the pandemic and 2 industry strikes hit this industry very hard. Just yesterday, our mayor had a press conference about bringing the filming back, but yet my position is being slated for deletion. I would like to request that my position remain. Every production I assist in brings in $100,000. Each TV episode generates $1 million in jobs and trickle-down economic for at least 2,000 businesses. It's essential to restore my position so I can continue to serve our signature industry. Thank you.
Before the next speaker.
Good morning. I'm here to speak on the budget. My name is Sharon Stewart. I'm from Harbour Interfaith Services, and I oversee the coordinated entry system. With all the upcoming changes and shifts, we urge our city leaders to not make any cuts to the homeless budget and release the full funding for all programs so that we can continue to operate smoothly and effectively. Cutting essential programs and putting obstacles in the flow and throughput for services will directly harm our most vulnerable citizens. Homelessness is not solved through disinvestment or roadblocks. It's solved through compassion, housing, and support services, and which are needed to generate results. Now is the time to prioritize humane and effective solutions and not to retreat from them. Thank you.
I'll start with the budget, if that's okay. Good morning, council members. I'm Megan Ortiz. I'm the Executive Director of EDEPSCA. Here today really to speak in support of the continued funding for the day labor centers. We're really pleased and thankful that by working in conjunction with EWDD and the Budget and Finance Committee, especially Councilwoman Hernandez, Councilman McCosker, and Councilmember Hutt, that the 7 day labor centers are back in the budget for fiscal year 25-26. These, whether or not you have a day labor center in your district, we are serving your constituents. These are workers who right now are cleaning up after the wildfires and are being trained to prep for the rebuild. We have to acknowledge, whether we like it or not, that there is an undocumented workforce that is being hired in the city of LA, and they are part of the economy. Thank you for making sure that this critical safety net continues to function at this critical moment. And now I'll shift to general public comment. Really speaking about the wildfire cleanup that is happening. EDEPSCA has been working with both the Department of Public Health as well as other organizations across the city, working with workers cleaning up in the wildfire area. We are really concerned by what we are seeing. We have been doing drive-alongs with DPH and are seeing workers without proper protective equipment, workers who do not know who their employers are, workers working with tattered Tyvek suits and not not even an N95, besides the fact that the recommendation is actually a P100. So we have been doing eye clinics for workers who have had injuries during cleanup work and will continue to do so, and are doing P100 fit testing. But please watch what's happening with the cleanup. Thank you.
Tengo 1 año y medio viviendo en la ciudad de Los Ángeles
I've been living in the city of LA for a year and a half,
y soy miembro del Centro de Jornaleros de Carecen.
and I am part of the Day Labor Center of Carecen.
Actualmente trabajo como vendedor ambulante
I'm right now a street vendor,
y el centro me ha apoyado para encontrar trabajos adicionales
and this center has helped me find additional work
que me han ayudado para mantener a mi familia.
that have helped me support my family.
También estoy en proceso de asilo, el cual me ha podido dar un permiso para seguir trabajando.
And I'm also in the process of getting asylum, which has permitted me to get extra abilities to work.
Les pedimos continuar dando presupuesto para que personas como yo puedan seguir recibiendo apoyo.
And we are asking you to continue financing this work so people like me can keep working.
De programas y servicios que ayudan a la comunidad jornalera.
Please provide finance to programs and services that help the day labor community,
Como el programa representa Los Ángeles.
the way that the program represents Los Angeles.
No se olviden de nosotros,
Don't forget us,
ya que la comunidad migrante representa el 70% de los trabajadores esenciales.
seeing as the migrant community represents 70% of essential workers.
Es por eso que les pedimos aprobar el presupuesto
This is why we're asking you to approve the budget
para continuar dando apoyo para los centros jornaleros.
to keep supporting the Day Laborer Center,
Y el programa representa Los Ángeles.
because this program represents Los Angeles.
Como migrantes, no queremos ser una carga para el Estado,
As migrants, we don't want to be a burden to the state,
pero pedimos oportunidades de trabajo.
but we need work
Muchas gracias.
opportunities. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Jennifer Macias with Esperanza Immigrant Rights Project, and I used to manage the now terminated Immigration Court Help Desk, where we helped unrepresented immigrants navigate removal proceedings. And I am here to show my strong support for the Represent LA program. Please approve the proposal to allocate $1 million for Represent LA in the city's final budget. Rep LA's work is critical to ensure due process for immigrant communities in Los Angeles. Given the current anti-immigrant climate and ramping up of deportations, it is imperative that the city continue to fund these services. Thank you.
I was born and raised in LA. I have been touched in one way or another by every part of Los Angeles, by each of the council districts you all represent. As someone who has walked the path of a youth in LA, I can tell you from firsthand experience that the youth in LA are alarmingly underinvested in. Youth deserve sustainable investment, and right now, your decisions will affect all from middle school to young adults. Youth are asking you to stand on the right side of history and do not sacrifice young people for the mistakes of others. It is your job to be the voice of Angelenos and to make the decisions to help our communities prosper. However, this committee is failing. Our city is failing. From prioritizing policing and ignoring pleas of constituents, mistakes are being made all over the board. The people in LA deserve better. We are seeing all over our city that we are fed up with being put last. LA is filled with a history of advocacy, and we are all preparing to fight. Fight with us, and our vote will be with you. The Youth Development Department has been the least funded department in the city of LA as a whole. The consolidation will not save any money. We please do not consolidate. This budget deficit is an excuse to take money and investment from our youth. Be on the right side of history and give the YDD a chance. The youth deserve a standalone department today, tomorrow, and also in the future.
I'm a climate justice associate at Scope, a membership-based organization in South LA. Thank you to the Budget and Finance Committee for restoring funding for the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. As we head into a heat wave this weekend, let us recognize the importance of climate action and investing in community resilience, since our reality is that this is only going to become more common and frequent each year. Our frontline communities like South LA need bold leadership and investments in solutions that center equity and justice. So one-time and/or short-term funding is not enough. We need long-term sustained investment in CMO to be the hub for climate resilience and engagement. I urge city leadership to keep frontline communities a priority. We look forward to working alongside the Mayor's Office, City Council, and other departments to ensure that CMO thrives and reflects the values of climate justice. Thank you.
Hello, I'm speaking for item 1 and general comment. My name is Alexis. I'm speaking for those with long COVID. These are people who have become chronically ill and disabled after contracting COVID-19. Worse than the $1 billion budget shortfall is the even larger $12 billion long-term economic impact if the city continues to ignore long COVID. I urge you to act now to prevent an imminent budget error. Council File 240500S3 proposes to reprogram over $13 million in dedicated pandemic relief funds away from its intended use. If those funds are misspent, we'll lose our rightful opportunity and critical moment to prevent future costs and protect vulnerable Angelinos. That includes nearly 270,000 people living with long COVID and HIV prevention services that are now at risk due to overlapping cuts. So I urge this committee to urgently highlight this issue in your final budget deliberations and recommend to the full council and mayor that these CARES Act funds be used as originally intended and federally mandated for necessary pandemic health recovery and economic stabilization. Second, I ask to ensure a commensurate line item in the final budget, specifically to sustain the Department on Disability in order to preserve HIV and establish long COVID-related services, preventing disastrous public and human costs down the line. Thank you.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Dani Hernández, soy madre soltera y llevo más de un año trabajando como jornalera en el centro de Carecen.
Good morning, my name is Dani Hernandez and I am a single mother and I've been working for Carecen.
Dependo del centro para encontrar un trabajo seguro y con un salario justo.
I depend on the center to find a safe job with a worth and just wage.
Algo importante para mí como mujer en este sector.
This is something important for me as a woman in this sector.
El centro de jornaleros no solo es un sistema de apoyo para mí, sino también para muchos otros miembros.
This working center is not only a support only for me, but for many other members.
Es un espacio donde aprendo sobre recursos comunitarios y mis derechos como trabajadora.
It's a space where I learn about my rights as a worker.
También es un espacio de confianza en un momento en el que el gobierno federal está atacando a la comunidad de inmigrantes.
It's also a place of trust in a moment where the federal government is attacking immigrants.
Es por eso que les pedimos aprobar el presupuesto para continuar dando apoyo a los centros jornaleros.
That is why we ask you to approve this budget to continue giving support for this working center.
Y el programa que representa a Los Ángeles.
And the program that represents Los Angeles.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, my name is Yaritza Gonzalez and I'm here on behalf of Carecen, the Central American Resource Center, to urge you to approve the budget to fund essential programs and services like Represent LA and day labor centers. As a legal service provider, Carecen supports the immigrant community through programs like Represent LA, which funds critical legal services. It is crucial that the City of LA fund Represent LA to meet the increased demand for legal services. Carecen also manages our day labor center, which helps provide protections against wage theft, as well as other resources that are safety nets and lifelines for our immigrant community. Both of these programs and services are especially important during this time when immigrants continue to face threats of mass deportations from the current administration. Therefore, we urge the City of LA to approve the budget for the Represent LA program and day labor centers. Thank you.
I represent District 1, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Sunrise Movement. I am supportive of many of the Budget and Finance Committee's recommendations, including the restoration of over 1,000 jobs and funding for essential social and municipal services. The amended budget offers significant improvements. I hope the Council will consider further expanding investment in climate, municipal, and social services. The continued pattern of prioritizing police funding at the expense of other offices and programs undermines the public safety far more than it helps. LAPD gained $320 million in liability payouts just within the last fiscal year. Meanwhile, the wildfires potentially cost the city over $100 billion in property and revenue losses. Climate affects every facet of our well-being and should be reflected in our political decisions. Los Angeles has always been at the forefront of progressive climate action. Let's pave the path by supporting a budget that supports climate justice through city planning, transportation, crisis response, and a public bank. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Eddie Morin. I'm a veteran. I'm here regarding the Veterans Memorial in East LA, Morin Memorial Square, also known as the 5 Points. The area has fallen into disrepair. It's supposed to be maintained by the City Parks and Recreation, but it's been largely ignored. The grass needs a lot of loving care, and a sprinkler system would be in order, as well as security lights. There's a lot of other perks that are needed, but in the interest of time, I'll cut it short. I just humbly request that you attend to these needs and act on them. Thank you.
I'm here with Safe Place for Youth, serving unhoused youth throughout Los Angeles. It is essential that no further cuts are made to services for our unhoused neighbors, and we'd like to assure that a youth set-aside is a part of every allocation in homeless services moving forward. In the past few months, we saw an alarming effort to absorb youth services into adult models, but we've tried that before and we know it doesn't work. Youth services are prevention. With 50% of chronically unhoused adults having had their first experience of homelessness as a youth, we know this. When we surveyed our youth, 60% of folks at SPY said they'd prefer no shelter at all to being housed with adults. So we know that this will increase unsheltered homelessness throughout the city, and we cannot afford it. Please make sure to protect services for unhoused Angelinos and make sure our youth are not forgotten. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Leslie Amaya Yanez, Public Affairs Manager at the Michelson Center for Public Policy. First, thank you for restoring the $5 million to animal services and for beginning the vital work of expanding access to spay and neuter services. That progress matters. But the public response you've heard is more than advocacy. It's a mandate. Angelinos care deeply about animals, and they expect the city to care too. A $30 million budget can't attract transformational leadership. It can't even meet the basic standards of humane care. And it certainly can't sustain a system meant to serve 4 million people. We have a mandatory spay and neuter law, yet year after year, we underfund the very services that make compliance possible. With the Olympics approaching and new funding on the horizon, now is the time. We respectfully request a meaningful increase to the animal services budget and to fully fund the voucher increases for the entirety of the year. Without urgent investment, the system will collapse under its own weight. Budgets are moral documents. Let's show that compassion is a priority in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Hello, council members. My name is Paola Estrada. I work at a nonprofit that serves the Eastside community. I'm also part of the Invest in Youth Coalition. I'm here to advocate for the Youth Development Department to be kept independent. It should not be merged with a bigger department that serves children, families, and seniors. Doing this will put necessary resources that the YDD provides at risk. So we're asking you to take a stand and defend its budget. It was only established back in 2021 and took 8+ years of advocacy. Now Mayor Karen Bass wants to take 10 steps back and get rid of the department just 4 years later. Please stand with youth and let them know that they matter, especially our system-impacted working class and housing insecure folks. The Invest in Youth Coalition has reached out to each of you council members to please draft and sign a written statement of support. This department was established with the help of some of the people on this very council. Do not go back on your commitment to our youth. If you want to prove to your constituents that you listen to them, do not support the mayor's proposal. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Mirka, and I am a community member from District 14 and a member of the Invest in Youth Coalition. It is a disservice to our communities and workers to consider such budget cuts. I'm here to support the Youth Development Department. We need to preserve the Youth Development Department because it's essential for many students and youth who are between the ages of 10 to 26-year-olds. Our children and adolescents are going to be greatly impacted if we lose funding and the department. Our youth depends on different services and resources all over LA County. It has been proven that having these support systems guide and support our youth. It is a space for youth to succeed and thrive. Taking away the department will only harm our youth. How is reducing our budget going to help our students? We ask you to please support the Youth Development Department as a standalone. Thank you.
Before the next speaker.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Alberto Gómez, miembro activo de Chirla. Estoy aquí para hacer comentarios públicos.
Permítame. My name is Gomez, and I'm a member of Chirla, and I'm here to make a general public comment. Continúe, adelante.
Urjo a los miembros del Consejo que sigan apoyando el programa Representa Los Ángeles.
I urge the council members to keep on supporting Represent LA.
Los centros jornaleros, acceso al lenguaje y los programas de servicio para la comunidad marginadas.
The Working Center provides language access and different services for the marginalized communities.
Soy orgulloso de mi raíz, de mi cultura, de ser latino en este país.
I am proud of my roots, of my culture, and being Latino in this country.
Y orgulloso de ser parte de la comunidad de Los Ángeles.
And I am proud to be a member of the LA community.
Actualmente el programa tiene casos activos. Actualmente el centro de jornalero está ayudando mucho.
Nowadays, the Working Center is helping a lot.
Ustedes tienen la oportunidad de seguir apoyando a programas que nosotros necesitamos y seguir la familia unida. Gracias.
You have the opportunity to keep on supporting programs that we need, and in that way to keep the family united. Thank you.
Good morning. Before I move on to my general public comment and comment on the agenda items, I'm also the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council designee to speak on the community impact statement we filed on this motion.
Okay, you'll have 3 minutes for the community impact statement.
Thank you. Again, I'm representing Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. I'm going to read the CIS we submitted. The Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council supports the work of the Neighborhood Council budget advocates and endorses its 2025 white paper recommendations to the City of Los Angeles. These recommendations aim to improve departmental functions, ensure a more effective use of taxpayer dollars, and enhance the efficient delivery of services across all communities. The Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council is deeply concerned about the city's impending structural budget deficit projected to exceed $900 million, and the significant impact the shortfall could have on city operations and services. SONC is disturbed that layoffs are being proposed, but salary cuts for the highest paid personnel are not under consideration. We urge the city to adopt a comprehensive and coherent plan to address the structural deficit and balance the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. This plan should include strategies to live within the city's financial means and transition from a one-year budget cycle to a more sustainable multi-year budgeting process that ensures long-term fiscal health and service stability. Neighborhood council budgets have been reduced over the years while inflation has made operational costs increasingly burdensome, while NCs continue to provide valuable representation, community engagement, support to charitable organizations, and other benefits to stakeholders as volunteer boards. NCs have not contributed to the liabilities and miscalculated revenue projections that have put the city in a fiscally precarious position and should not be expected to shoulder the burden of rectifying the city's financial status. We ask that NC budgets remain at $32,000 per year. An important matter in the city budget is whether the fire department will have funds and manpower to continue to the Community Emergency Response Team CERT program. This is an essential program which trains volunteer individuals to serve communities, neighborhoods, and support first responders during emergencies and catastrophic events. The city underfunds emergency management, CERT's budget is pennies on the dollar with a return on investment which far exceeds the cost. The Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council once again voices its support to fund and keep this valuable program. So just to recap the main points that SONC made with the CIS, make sure you restore NC budgets, do not cut them. Keep the CERT program functioning after the wildfires. I think it's pretty obvious why we need the CERT program, which trains people to respond to emergencies and help their neighbors. And just don't make neighborhood councils or communities shoulder the financial burden that this body has really placed on us through miscalculating projections, overcompensating certain departments, and underprojecting liabilities. Thank you. I will move on to my own personal general public comment and comment on the budget item. Mayor Bass has done it again, wants to fund police at the people's expense. Oh, council, you've heard the people's voice about their priorities. Now you have a choice. Please reject the mayor's proposal and restore funding to the NCs. Oh, council, please. Oops, it's budget season. We do this each year. We should make a change to a 2-year cycle if you need to make cuts to balance the budget. It should be from your own salaries.
Now I'd like to call a few more names. DJ
Thank you.
Yoon.
That was my comment on the agenda item. I'd like to move on to general public comment now, please. First off, I want to say thank you for projecting to keep the Crossing Guard program. It's a very valuable program. It keeps our children safe, reduces liability to the city, and I'm very glad it looks like that our program is going to be saved and 460 crossing guards are going to keep their jobs. All that being said, I'm really disappointed in President Marquise Harris-Dawson today. For his decision to not allow any of the folks who were stuck outside chambers before they cut off public comment sign up today. And I'm also disappointed in the members of this body who, every single one of you, failed to call a point of order to ask President Harris-Dawson to please allow more signups, as there's been a huge line outside all morning, and people who would line up as early as 9 a.m. were denied entry once chambers hits capacity. So again, thank you for funding the crossing guards, but do better with keeping your president in check when he makes decisions that silence the public.
General comment. Good morning. I'm DJ Yoon with the Koreatown Immigrant Workers Alliance. I'm here to urge your leadership to improve the language access services for immigrants. As you are aware, half of Angelinos speak other language than English, and they want to be part of the LA City. But in reality, they are left out and they are excluded from the information. I have a specific request. Please, regarding the budget cut, please preserve stepping for language access. Currently, there are only two steps for the Office of Immigrant Inclusion and Language Access. But with this proposed budget, it will leave only one person to oversee the entire city's language access program. There are many departments that need to be improved the language access, but we want to start with the housing department. The hotline or the messages is in English. On the everyday, community members come to our organization because they cannot communicate with the housing department. That's one example. Thank you.
What's up, my homie? What's up, dog? I want to speak on item number 1 and the general public comment. Oh, already started? Okay. So item number 1, what I see that is there's only one neighborhood council who support this budget. Every other neighborhood council either want an amendment, either they are neutral, either they are against. And then when I take a look, which neighborhood, the only neighborhood council who support this budget is no surprise, the super woke illegal Hernandez district. So right now I'm here to support our illegal District 1 because illegals are always for illegals. We support illegal prostitution in Council District 1. We support illegal worker in Council District 1. We support illegal tenants in District 1. We support illegal food in Council District 1. We support illegal police officer in Council District 1. Because I'm illegal, I will always support illegal Council District 1. Now let's move on to the general public comment is that this budget makes no mention about our sex worker on Figueroa Street. I am here, I was born to be a sex worker, I will continue to be a sex worker, and then all of my family, we are 18th generation sex worker, but this budget does not reflect our family value, our family tradition, and then the most important is the American prostitution culture. So I am here to stand against the council, to stand against the city attorney, because our sex worker deserve $30 minimum wage. Our Figueroa worker deserve health insurance. Our Figueroa worker deserve all LAPD protection. And then most important, our Figueroa sex worker, we deserve free condom care and the free aftercare, the morning after pill. But this council continue to ignore the well-being of our Figueroa sex worker. This mayor continue to ignore us. We will never be silent. I support illegal prostitute, and we will continue to fight for illegal prostitute.
Hello, my name is Araceli Rodriguez, and I am the campaign lead for the Invest in Youth Coalition. I'm here today advocating for the young people of Los Angeles. When I first learned about the city's general lack of investment in young people, I was 15 years old. Ever since, I have been advocating for a city to invest in young people because it accepts so much how we aren't a priority and are forgotten. Today, I am 26 years old, and here I am once again advocating for the same thing because year after year, there is no difference. Why is that? Why is it that youth ages 10 to 25 are always an afterthought? Why is it that somehow when you all actually get elected, you get scared to stand up for what you ran for during your election? We need leaders who are firm and not afraid to stand up for what they believe in despite the politics, because at the end of the day, your job is to serve us. We elected you. Please do the right thing and start prioritizing young people. In regards to the budget, I'm here today to speak against the consolidation of the YDD. Thank you to council members Rodriguez, Padilla, and Jurado for standing next to the Invest in Youth Coalition and writing a letter of support. Here today, I brought the coalition's letter in a physical copy for the rest of you because the coalition has either not heard back from your office or they have said that you haven't made up your mind because you need more time to look into this matter outside of the budget process. I'm here today on behalf of the coalition to tell you that the consolidation for the Youth Development Department isn't a good idea, period. Not now and not never. And deep down, you know this. The Youth Development Department was created and meant for the consolidation of all youth services in the city of LA. This would actually bring in more revenue, and that's what you all want for the city, right? More revenue? Youth and youth development experts did the work and research. Use our task force report. Use the 3-year strategic plan. All the answers to your questions are there. And now here I am in front of you, and you all still are listening and having side conversations. The lack of leadership in our elected leaders is what's failing the Youth Development Department. For the past 4 years, it hasn't been properly funded. Please don't consolidate and leave this budget alone. Thank you.
My name is John Chan. I'm a District 13 resident for 24 years, an architect, and also on the board of directors of the Barnsdall Art Park Foundation, on whose behalf I'm here today. The mayor's proposed budget cuts includes major cuts to the Department of Cultural Affairs, which supports the beloved Barnsdall Art Park on Olive Hill at the intersection of East Hollywood and Los Feliz, and threatens the only culturally created UNESCO World Heritage Site in the West Coast. Let me repeat that. The only culturally created UNESCO World Heritage Site in the West Coast. Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural masterpiece, the Hollyhock House. 7 essential staff positions are at risk, including 3 of Hollyhock House's 4 full-time positions. These cuts mean that public tours, which welcome over 40,000 Angelenos and tourists every year, would be suspended. The city worked for over 15 years, the city of Los Angeles, to get this UNESCO status, to achieve this, and now these cuts precipitously pose a risk to public access and its UNESCO designation. Other programming will be affected. Thank you so much for your consideration to not vote for these budget cuts. Thank you.
Godfrey Plata, Deputy Director, LA Forward Institute, here for item 1, in favor of the Budget Committee's proposal to maintain and expand the CAO's Unarmed Model of Crisis Response Program, or UMCR. This is a life-saving program. It reroutes 6 types of 911 calls that typically go to LAPD or LAFD and instead reroutes them to trained mental health professionals, crisis interventionists, and more. In doing so, we not only save lives and free up LAPD or LAFD capacity, but the city also saves money. The CAO's office reports that for every 2-person team deployed to an incident, we spend $35. If we deployed PD to the same incident, it would cost $85. We also know that even just 2 liability lawsuits can cost the city $14 million. The Budget Committee's proposal is less than this and ensures more Angelenos have access to life-saving alternatives for crisis response. Lastly, as an immigrant, I'm heartened to see $1 million added to fund Represent LA services. Now more than ever, immigrants and their families deserve due process. Leave that $1 million untouched as you deliberate tomorrow. Thank you.
My name is David, and I'm here to advocate on the Youth Development Department to continue to be a standalone office. Merging this office with other offices would take away fundamental specialized support for youth. Rather than giving support for youth for individual attention, resources, and support to ensure that they have the tools and resources that they need for their successful futures, the merging of their age group with other offices like children and family offices would dim the prosperity of youth in the city of LA. It took the investment youth 8 years of hard work to advocate for this department to be created just so that it could be jeopardized due to the mismanagement of budget. Support the youth and support the Youth Development Department to remain a standalone office. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jerry Jones with the Greater LA Coalition on Homelessness for general public comment, and to urge the council not to further cut the homelessness budget. We got a preview of the PIT count numbers that are coming out next month, and they are going down for unsheltered homelessness. Right now it's 65% of the city's homeless population is unsheltered. That is a historic low for the entire time we've been counting. A few years back it was 75%. We're making some progress. For that reason, I'd urge you to make one change, especially that doesn't have a fiscal impact, and that is to fully appropriate the interim housing funding. About half of it is now in the UB. The consequence that will have for providers is every single contractor helping this city shelter its residents has to come back for amendments. It's going to delay what I think we all want, which is to bring more people inside. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jacob Montag, and I'm a member of Sunrise LA. I'm here in support of many of the Budget and Finance Committee's recommendation, including the restoration of over 1,000 jobs and funding for essential social and municipal services. While the amended budget offers significant improvements, I hope that the Council will consider further expanding investment in climate, municipal, and social services. I understand that the city faces severe financial challenges, but the continued pattern of prioritizing police funding at the expense of other offices and programs undermines public safety far more than it helps. Neglected infrastructure, polluted neighborhoods, and extreme weather all pose severe risks to public safety. I urge you to protect the jobs, climate, and social programs that the city needs in this budget. You can deepen that investment by funding climate and social programs, protecting city workers, unarmed crisis response, day labor centers, and supporting a public bank. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Andrew Morales, the Director of Programs for Safe Park in LA. I'm here to advocate for the continued and expanded investment in programs for those experiencing homelessness, especially those living in their vehicles. Safe parking programs are currently the only funded intervention for the city that provides safe and dignified space for individuals and families experiencing vehicular homelessness. While overall unsheltered homelessness is on a downward trend, vehicular homelessness is rising. By reimagining our existing infrastructure, underutilized parking lots, we provide a low-cost, low-barrier intervention with powerful outcomes. Safe Park in LA specifically sees a 47% exit rate into positive housing outcomes, many of whom are experiencing homelessness for the first time. The experience of providers reflect those of the participants they serve. Just as some individuals live paycheck to paycheck, many of these nonprofit organizations are living and operating contract to contract, consistently facing uncertain with little assurance of long-term funding stability. I urge you to ensure and continue investment in programs like safe parking, because when we invest in our most vulnerable population, we stabilize our entire community. Thank you.
So, hi, my name is Elizabeth Analco. I am a community member of CD1, and I am here to urge all of y'all to keep the Youth Development Department as its own standalone department. The fight out there is rough. Not only are we facing major budget cuts here in LA because of the mayor's overspending, but we're also facing major budget cuts statewide. Your constituents are fighting on multiple fronts, and you want to take away services that have helped folks live? Services like those within the YDD that have empowered youth. How are we meant to shape our futures when you're taking away the tools we're using to do so? You are meant to help us. You're meant to stand with us, not give us another thing to fight for. So tell me, how many more people do you need to stand before you to tell you why all of these programs and services that are being cut are more important than the increased police are getting? If we, your constituents, are as important as you continuously say we are, then you will make sure that we all get the proper care and attention we need. Thank you.
Buenos días, Andrés Salazar. Soy Andrés Salazar y quisiera agradecer y apoyar la continuidad de los fondos para los centros jornaleros.
Permiso. Hi, my name is Andrés Salazar, and I would like to speak in support of the continued funding for the Day Labor Center. Adelante.
En especial, quisiera agradecer a las council members Hernández y McCosser.
And I would especially like to thank council members Hernández and McCosker. Adelante.
La continuidad de los programas jornaleros va a permitir que la comunidad trabajadora tenga acceso a recursos de salud, educativos y de un lugar seguro.
Permíteme. Continuing to fund these programs ensures that workers have access to health care, educational programs. Adelante.
También quisiera poner en la mesa la importancia de la comunidad jornalera para la reconstrucción de la ciudad.
Permíteme. I would also like to put on the table the importance that these day laborers hold in terms of reconstructing the city.
Entonces, mantener los fondos para los Day Labor Centers permiten dignidad de los trabajadores y las trabajadoras.
And therefore, maintaining the funds going into these day labor centers maintain the dignity of workers. Thank you.
Hi, I'm going to speak on item 1. So my name is Jennifer, and I'm a community member of CD14. And I'm here advocating for the Youth Development Department to stay its own department because we should uplift youth voices instead of silencing them. Youth are the future. It's not fair that they always get the short end of the stick. Youth should not have to deal with the consequences of adults being unresponsible and not being able to use the city's budget properly. Youth development benefits a lot of youth by giving them a space to become leaders and vocalize their opinions on how programs and budgets should be shaped. I urge you to continue investing in the youth, investing in the future, and allowing them to have a say in the decisions. Keep the Youth Development Department its own department. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here to give public commentary. My name is Emilio. Good day. Adelante.
Estoy aquí en el Centro de Jornaleros de Carecen. Podemos pedir continuar dándonos presupuestos para que personas como yo puedan seguir recibiendo apoyo del programa de servicio que ayuda a la comunidad.
Permíteme. I am 47 years old and I am here to support the continued financing of the Carecen Day Laborers program. Please continue to fund it so people like me can continue to receive its services. Adelante.
En el centro, en una comunidad donde se encuentra apoyo que es difícil encontrar en otros lugares.
Permíteme. In these centers, the community can find support that's hard to find in other places. Adelante.
Ahora es cuando más necesitamos su apoyo. Por favor, apruebe el presupuesto para los centros jornaleros, proteja a los trabajadores inmigrantes de Los Ángeles. Gracias.
Right now is when we most need your help. Please continue to finance the Day Labor Center. Right now is when the immigrant workers of Los Angeles need your help the most. Thank you.
Hello, I'm here to speak on item number 1. Good morning, my name is Wendy and I am a member with Invest in Youth and a community member of City 14. I'm here to strongly urge you to maintain the Youth Development Department as a standalone department. Our youth deserve focused, specialized support and shouldn't be merged into broader departments. Though YDD is a foundational pillar for our city's future, the challenges our young people face, from mental health to education opportunities, community violence, require dedicated resources, leadership and strategy, and most of all, support. Don't let them down. They need us like we need them. Keeping our youth development department independent ensures that youth issues remain a priority with direct accountability and the ability to advocate for and implement youth-centered policies and programs not to be cut. It will also demonstrate that this city values the voices and needs of young people through the invest in their success with the full support of a dedicated department. I urge you to preserve this structure and continue to give youth the focused attention they deserve. As leaders, you should prioritize the well-being of our city's next generation and not have them as an afterthought. Thank you.
My name is Wendy Miranda, and I'm with Esperanza Community Housing, based in CD9, and I'm personally a resident of Council District 15. And I'm here in strong support for the Represent LA program and ask that you allocate $1 million for this crucial program that helps our immigrant communities. I'm also here because I'm concerned about the impact of necessary climate programs. I urge you to restore funding for the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office and for the Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas. I also ask that you restore all 5 general plan health and environmental justice positions that are responsible for the health and air quality elements of our general plan. It's important that the city creates and implements a community-led standalone EJ element. This is necessary, especially for our frontline communities. We look forward to continuing to work with the city and ensure that the city invests towards building a healthy and equitable LA. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Iretha. I'm from District 8. I'm with SCOPE, grassroots organization based in South LA, South Central Los Angeles, focused on community empowerment and building. Thank you, the Budget and Finance Committee, for restoring funding for the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. We also appreciate the support in keeping staff in Office of Petroleum and Natural Resources and continuing Brownfield's climate action teams across departments. This is important to our communities, our climate action community resilience. That said, short-term funding is not enough. We need long-term solutions. CMO needs sustained long-term investment to deliver on its mission to serve our communities, climate, and environment. Justice must stay on top and prioritize this. For our city, our communities deserve ongoing investment that centers equity and health. Thank you.
Before the next.
Hello, honorable city council members. My name is Brittany Rivas. I'm the care coordinator at Communities for a Better Environment, so I'm working out of Wilmington and also a community member out of Southeast LA. I'm very concerned about the climate crisis because of our community is impacted both by oil drilling, freeways, refineries, the Port of Los Angeles, and more. I urge the city to pass the budget with amendments while creating opportunities to work towards a participatory process that centers community priorities. Also ensure environmental justice and climate justice remain a top priority for the city and that in this administration. Thanks to the Budget and Finance Committee for restoring the funding for Climate Emergency Mobilization Office, or CMO. We need a long-term and sustained funding commitment for CMO. CMO has served as a resource hub for communities during extreme heat by sharing important heat and health alerts and distributing air filters to low-income communities after January fires, which our Wilmington community members have benefited from. We also urge the city to preserve critical projects related to protecting frontline communities from the harms of oil and gas drilling, protect LA Sanitation's Brownfields program, which is currently slated to be eliminated. This program directly improves the health of low-income communities of color who have been disproportionately impacted by toxic polluters. Restore general plan health and environmental justice positions that are responsible for the health and air quality elements of the general plan. As a community member in environmental justice community, I believe it's important for my health and that of my communities that the city create and implement a community-led environmental justice plan. Therefore, I urge the city to take the climate crisis seriously and rather than cut vital programs that support my family and my community, to instead invest towards building a healthy and equitable Los Angeles. And lastly, I also support the allocation of $1 million towards the Represent LA program. Thank you.
Estoy aquí hoy en representación de SCOPE, una organización de base ubicada en el sur de Los Ángeles.
I am here today representing SCOPE, which is a grassroots organization in South Central LA. Adelante.
Enfocada en el empoderamiento comunitario y la organización popular.
We focus on community empowerment.
Gracias al Comité de Presupuesto y Finanzas por restituir los fondos para la Oficina de Movilización ante la Emergencia Climática CEMO.
And thank you to the Council for restoring financing to the Climate Mobilization Crisis Center, CIMO.
También agradecemos su apoyo para mantener al personal de la Oficina de Petróleo y Recursos Naturales.
Permíteme. We would also like to thank you for maintaining the positions for the offices of natural gas and petroleum extraction.
Así como a los equipos de acción climática y sitios contaminados en los distintos departamentos.
Just like the different positions in different departments that focus on contaminated sites.
Este es un paso importante hacia una verdadera acción climática y la resiliencia comunitaria.
This is an important step to resilience and disculpe señora, ¿puede repetirse?
Dicho esto, la financiación única o a corto plazo no es suficiente.
Saying this, short-term financing isn't enough. Adelante.
CEMO necesita una inversión sostenida y a largo plazo.
CIMO needs a long-term and sustainable investment.
Para cumplir con su misión y servir a nuestras comunidades.
To be able to realize its mission and serve our communities.
La justicia climática y ambiental debe seguir siendo una prioridad para nuestra ciudad.
Climate justice needs to keep being a priority for our city.
Nuestras comunidades merecen una inversión continua que ponga al centro la equidad, la salud y la resiliencia.
Our communities deserve a plan that centers equity, justice, and health.
Gracias.
Thank
Buenos
you.
días.
Have a good day.
I'm representing the Los Angeles for Resilient and Healthy Homes Coalition, fighting for a safe and healthy place to live for all Angelinos. I'm also here in solidarity with the workers who are in the room now from Idepstica, Carecen, and Day Labor Center. We are grateful for the committee for restoring funding to key city programs, and we urge you to continue funding LA's climate initiatives that build public power and create union jobs. Please protect the public sector workforce that our city relies on for climate resilience in departments like the Climate Emergency Mobilizations Office, Recreation and Parks, and Office of Petroleum and Natural Gas Administration and Safety. We need climate workers now more than ever, and we need meaningful progress in climate and environmental justice now. I hope that future budgets will be created with communities from the start and prioritize investments into what our communities actually need. For a truly balanced budget, please consider new revenue sources like making sure that the wealthy pay their fair share of taxes. Thank you.
Good morning, Council President and Council members.
Since 2005, CD 14 has lacked an inadequate representation from our elected council members. Unfortunately, CD 14 seems to be in the same situation with our current council member, a council member who commented negatively about our officers, which I find shameful. An official that should set the example to bring community and LAPD together. Therefore, as a long-life resident of CD 14, I implore this council to please secure LAPD funding, because without public safety, our quality of life will suffer. And please free Tina and Billy.
Good morning. My name is Jana Brennan, and I'm here with the Michelson Center for Public Policy. First, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to council members Yaroslavsky, Blumenfeld, Harris-Dawson, Hernandez, and Jurado for continuing to push for spay and neuter funding. Failure to fully invest in the spay and neuter voucher program will escalate into a far greater challenge for the city, and we will feel the effects of this year's budget crisis for years to come. Across every district, communities are overwhelmed by the growing population of free-roaming cats. The dedicated individuals and rescue groups who trap, sterilize, feed, and care for these animals are stretched thin and operating with limited resources. With the Community Cat Program vouchers capped at $2,000 per month and no proposed increase for the CCP voucher in the next fiscal year, the number of community cats, which is currently estimated in the millions, will rise unchecked. Spay and neuter programs are among the few investments that offer a high and immediate return, improving public health and reducing shelter intake while alleviating the burden on communities and animal welfare organizations alike. I want to thank you for your dedication to building a more humane Los Angeles and for continuing to prioritize the funding for this life-saving work. While I have a little extra time, I'd also like to share that we're joined today by 3 exceptional spay and neuter partners today. Camp, Fix Nation, and Lux Paws are in attendance, and I'm not sure if their comments will get heard before cutoff. So these 3 organizations have collectively spayed and neutered over 600,000 animals in Los Angeles. Their life-saving work is now at risk if the voucher is not increased, and that includes the CCP voucher. They rely on the dedicated veterinarians and vet technicians to deliver those essential services to manage the cat population, but the current voucher amount does not support a sustainable business model for their groups. So I urge you to fully fund the vouchers. Thank you.
Mi nombre es María Soberanis y soy parte de Chirla.
My name is Maria Soberanes and I am part of Chirla.
Urjo a los miembros del Consejo que sigan apoyando el programa.
I urge council members to keep on supporting the program.
Representa a Los Ángeles,
Represent LA,
los centros de jornaleros y los programas de servicio
the Working Center and the service programs
para comunidades marginadas.
that are for marginalized communities.
Hace unas semanas, en el Distrito Escolar de Los Ángeles,
Some weeks ago at LA USD,
fuimos testigos de cómo ICE
we were witnesses of how ICE
se presentó a unas escuelas.
showed up to some schools.
Gracias a Dios, el personal estaba preparado
Thanks God the personnel was
para
prepared
responder y asegurar la seguridad
the personnel was prepared to respond and make sure that
de
the
nuestros
safety
estudiantes y familias.
of our students and families.
Nosotros como comunidad estamos conscientes
We as a community members are conscious
que los 4 años que serán difíciles, por eso necesitamos su apoyo
that the next 4 years will be difficult, and that is why we need your support
para que no corten recursos esenciales.
so that they do not cut essential money, resources.
Gracias por escuchar.
Thank you for listening.
I thought public comment was an opportunity for your constituents to feel heard, but some of you council members aren't even paying attention to us speaking. It is disrespectful that if everybody in this room had to stand outside in the sun for 2 hours, you should be able to be in your seat and listen to us for 1 minute. I am with the Invest in Youth Coalition, a coalition that was created 10 years ago with over 60 youth-serving organizations, youth leaders, and community members from your very own council districts who came together to fight for the creation of a youth development department. A youth department that will holistically serve youth ages 10 to 26 and give them the actual decision-making power we need inside City Hall. In 2021, we made the YDD a reality, but now our city is trying to erase the progress we made without giving our department an actual chance to thrive. Council members and Mayor Bass, during your campaign election, you said that you're going to invest in young people. Where's your commitment now that we need you? Stop ghosting us, Council Districts 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 15. Reach out back to the youth leaders who've been blowing up your phones every single day. Now, I'll be speaking on item number 1. I am here today because I am in support to make sure the Youth Development Department stays as a standalone department. Council members, we need you to do the same by voting to remove Exhibit H from the budget proposal now, because we cannot have the Youth Development Department be consolidated into an office under the Children and Families Department because they do not solely focus or prioritize youth ages 10 to 25. And Exhibit H, if Exhibit H passes, that will increase liability costs and put the lives of youth at risk, since there will be no department that will focus specifically on youth. This will further put the city in a deficit, and y'all care about money, right? In addition, if the mayor's state of city speech, he said that consolidating multiple departments under the Children and Families Department will bring in more revenue and increase efficiency, but that is not necessarily true. Both the CLA and COA office came out with reports saying that that would bring little to no revenue impact.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
Soy una chica, vengo representando a la comunidad, a la gente discapacitada y a la comunidad transgénero conviviendo con VIH y SIDA.
I am here, I'm a girl representing the community, handicapped community, transgender, and the people, the community that have HIV.
Gracias a los servicios que he tenido y al medicamento que me han dado, sigo aquí adelante con mi discapacidad y viviendo tranquila con el VIH.
Thanks to the services provided and the medication that they gave me, I'm here able to continue even though I'm a handicap.
El miedo que tengo es que si cortan los servicios y cortan el medicamento, no tendría cómo pagar un medicamento así.
The fear that I have is that if you cut the services and the medication, I won't be able to afford it.
He seguido adelante, soy voluntaria dando comida en un banco de comida.
I am a volunteer in a food bank.
Y me encanta lo que hago y me da miedo no volver a hacer eso.
And I love what I do, and I'm scared of not being able to do it again.
Solo pido que por favor ayuden a que no corten nada de servicios y mucho menos el medicamento que he tomado por varios años.
I just ask you to help so that they do not cut the services and especially the medication that I've been taking for many years.
Y que por eso estoy aquí y sigo adelante por ellos.
Because of that, I am here and I am been able to keep on moving because of that.
Muchísimas gracias, consulas.
Thank you very much, council members.
My name is Shuming Chir, and I'm with the California Immigrant Policy Center, and I'm here today urging you to support the $1 million allocation for Represent LA's critical legal services, as well as the $1 million for the day labor centers. The situation for immigrant Angelenos is dire right now. Federal legal service programs have been cut, including legal orientation programs at Southern California detention centers and the LA Immigration Court Help Desk. Without continued funding from the city, hundreds, if not thousands, of children and adults will lose legal representation. And ICE has ramped up their targeting of Angelenos. Just 2 weeks ago, ICE arrested over 200 people during a week of raids in the LA area. Represent LA will provide much-needed services to immigrant Angelenos facing the loss of their status, potential detentions, and deportations. The program has already served over 5,000 immigrants since its launch, including survivors of labor trafficking. Let's make sure this critical program continues, and let's not abandon our immigrant neighbors when they need us the most. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Gabrielle Earl, and I proudly serve as a City of Los Angeles employee. I want to begin by recognizing the important progress we've made together through collaboration and difficult conversations. we've been able to reduce the number of jobs threatened by the budget from 1,600 to 600. And we appreciate that. But we can't stop here. We must continue to work together to find the necessary work together to find the funding necessary to save the remaining 600 jobs. We know times are tough. We know this process isn't easy, but when jobs are lost, families suffer. And when city jobs are lost, services suffer. These aren't just positions on paper. They are people who keep our neighborhoods clean, safe, and running. Let's continue to find real solutions together, because protecting city jobs means protecting the people and services that make Los Angeles work. I also would like to add that we have actively been lobbying in Sacramento on numerous occasions, trying to bridge the gap to make sure that these civil service employees are not laid off. Thank you.
I'll be speaking on general public comment and the budget items, so both items, please. Good afternoon, council members. I'm Zoe Nattel, Executive Director of CAMP, the Community Animal Medicine Project. Today, I'm sharing a unified request from over 20 Los Angeles veterinarians who have spayed and neutered over 500,000 LA cats and dogs. We, along with the animal welfare community, call for a full increase to the spay-neuter voucher rates. This is urgently needed. We are grateful for the City Council Budget and Finance Committee's recommendation to increase funding for a part of this program, but with our shelters at capacity and healthy cats and dogs being euthanized, halfway measures won't solve a crisis that demands bold, permanent action. The number of vets accepting vouchers has dropped from 85 to just 29 in the last decade because we can't afford to accept insufficient reimbursement rates set in 2015. The increase of only one voucher type will not increase veterinarian participation because this funding will not cover the total number of vouchers needed. Please fully fund all voucher types, free, discount, shelter animal AFEs, and the citywide cat program. It's an upfront investment that will save future taxpayer dollars and will have a humane, immediate impact. Dog and cat euthanasia in LA rose by 72% from 2023 to 2024, a heartbreaking result of our city's shelter overcrowding crisis. The city's voucher program was created to help, but providers can't accept vouchers that don't cover costs, and too many families are left without access to care. You can change that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, honorable council members. My name is Jackie Navratil, a resident of CD 13, founder of a very small grassroots effort, neighborhood effort to assist with spay-neuter in CD 14, CD1. I'm here to try to encourage you to support a humane LA. I have a recorded speech ready to go here, but I need to be honest. We need to prioritize proven solutions. Please, please fund spay-neuter. Angelenos do not have access to veterinary care in many parts of the city. I'm going to be honest with you, small organizations who are in the neighborhoods, people are begging us to help them fix their dogs, their cats. We have community pets. We have dogs that do belong to a couple of neighbors, cats who belong to an entire block. And we need to give them these services. I'm sorry, but the state philanthropy is not stepping up, and it would be great to see the city council and the mayor truly support a humane LA and help us reduce the number of dogs and cats breeding. Please.
Hello, I'm here to make a general comment as well as a comment on item number 1. My name is John Hernandez. I am representing Bienestar Human Services. Among many other services, we provide HIV prevention and harm reduction programs in the city of Los Angeles and across the county, including the San Fernando Valley, Hollywood, and South Los Angeles. We have unfortunately found ourselves in unprecedented times. Many nonprofits, including Bienestar, have felt the negative impacts this current administration has had on federal funding. Although we persist, cutting funds from the Department on Disability will only worsen the situation. Substance use and HIV are on the rise again in Los Angeles, and the city has always supported innovative HIV prevention and harm reduction programs that have addressed the needs of the population in a culturally important manner. Now more than ever, this population needs as much support as they can get. But the decision to move forward with the current budget plan will only illustrate that the city does not support them, that they are not important. They will feel abandoned. We urge the city to reconsider the cuts towards the Department on Disability. We cannot abandon each other during these times. We need to stand together, united and strong. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tanya Borja. I work in the Council District 8. I'm here today on behalf of SCOPE, grassroots organization based in South Central, focused on community empowerment and base building. Thank you to the Budget and Finance Committee for restoring funding for the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office. We also appreciate your support in keeping staff at the Office of Petroleum and Natural Resources, and in continuing brownfield and climate action teams across the department. This is an important step towards real climate action and community resilience. That being said, one-time short-term funding is not enough. CMO needs sustained long-term investment to deliver its missions and serve our communities. Climate and environmental justice must stay a top priority for the city. Our communities deserve ongoing investment that centers equity, health, and resilience. Also, please keep the Youth Development Department as its standalone department. Our youth are the future.
Thank you. Before we get to the next speaker, we were scheduled to end at noon. I'm going to try to get us, I've been told I can keep quorum for about another 15 minutes. So we're going to go into overtime for 15 minutes. And I would ask all the speakers, so you still have a minute for the item and a minute for general public comment, but as a courtesy in the bonus round or the lightning round, I'd ask folks if they can be as quick as possible, because the quicker we are, the more people we can get heard in these 15 minutes. So we're going to go for another 15 minutes in overtime, and I'm calling this the lightning round if people are willing to speak as quick as they can. With that, next speaker, welcome.
That doesn't feel coincidental. My name is Melina Abdullah. I organize with Black Lives Matter Grassroots and Black Lives Matter Los Angeles, and we are almost 5 years out since the murder of George Floyd. And many of you, when George Floyd was killed, were actually out in the streets with us. There were hundreds of thousands of people. Some of the largest uprisings in world history were here in Los Angeles. Some of you were there. Others of you were inside, and tens of thousands of us were outside, and we pressured you to cut LAPD budget by $150 million and invest another $100 million into alternatives. Somehow, when we looked away, that money got gobbled back up by LAPD. And what we're saying is 5 years later, 5 years after the murder of George Floyd, we're calling on you to be the best of yourselves, to say Black lives still matter. We still want to defund the police and invest in the things that actually make communities safe. Instead of locking communities out of city council meetings, you should be doing what was done 5 years ago and inviting us in to present the people's budget presentation, which you refused to do. We're saying Black lives still matter. Black lives still matter. Do what's right for your community, and keep fighting, y'all.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you. I want to thank you, council members, so much for fighting for us. Thank you. You really have an opportunity now to use your vote on this budget to become leaders in this country and show the rest of the country how it's done. You can create new jobs if you could vote to lessen the police budget and vote to invest in the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office, in the Emergency Management Department, and create new jobs for those cops. I'm sure they would love to take off those heavy uniforms and help protect the community. I live less than 450 feet from an active oil well. That is Ian B's Packard site. There's 51 active oil wells in there. And I am afraid of when the atmospheric floods come, the atmospheric rivers. those chemicals that are stored in that oil site are going to contaminate our neighborhood. I am frightened of the threat of fire, from wildfire or from fireworks on 4th of July, of creating a terrible disaster. The oil companies do not care about Angelenos. They have no plan to protect us. They have no plan to evacuate us. I don't even know if I could evacuate in time if there is a fire or if there's an earthquake and an oil spill. I do not want to live in fear. It's not fair. My family has lived here before the oil rig arrived in the 1960s. My husband remembers when he was a little boy when this oil drilling site arrived across the street, and it's not fair. We need to please end oil drilling in Los Angeles. We can become leaders. We have enough energy from renewable sources. We are choking on frontlines communities are choking on toxic air, and we needed relief yesterday. This crisis is especially dire for people of color.
Thank you. And again, remember, folks, we have a lot of folks. We're trying to do the lightning round here. Go ahead, ma'am.
First of all, I want to thank the Budget and Finance Committee and the CLA, Ms. So, if you're here, for your diligent work in restoring 1,000 city jobs. Your action not only preserved the livelihoods of our hardworking members, but also preserved important city services and programs that are relevant to your constituents. But we together still have a lot of work to do. The LAPD civilian cuts will affect operations and overtime costs and need to be addressed. In personnel department, workers are currently being asked to train their colleagues on the layoff procedures, carry out the layoffs, and then lay themselves off. This is not just inefficient, it's unjust. We gotta think more about the consolidation. These 4 departments have their own relevant and important programs. A thorough and comprehensive study and analysis needs to be done before any decisions are made on the consolidation. Workers did not create this crisis. Overspending, lack of transparency in Inside Safe, and millions in excess police pension contributions that the city was not obligated to pay are contributing factors. We urge this full council to approve the amended budget and the position restorations, and to please continue pursuing every layoff avoidance strategy. Our members deserve stability, and the city deserves a budget based on accountability, not austerity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Mi nombre es José Valdés, soy un inmigrante, tengo alrededor de 23 años viviendo aquí en los Estados Unidos.
My name is Jose Valdez. I'm an immigrant and I've been living in the United States for around 23 years. Adelante.
Actualmente trabajo como un forklift driver o montacarguista.
Right now I work as a forklift driver.
Y por esos 23 años yo he contribuido pagando mis impuestos en este país para hacer Estados Unidos más grande.
And during these 23 years, I have contributed by paying my taxes to make the United States greater.
He venido este día para que el día de mañana, primero Dios, tomen una buena decisión para que nos apoyen con los programas que necesitamos para nuestra comunidad más necesitada de Los Ángeles.
Permíteme. I am here so that tomorrow, God willing, you guys support the services and the resources that are most needed by our most vulnerable communities. Adelante.
Yo les ruego humildemente a todos los concejales que se tomen su mano en el corazón y el día de mañana nos apoyen con los programas que necesitamos, como Representa Los Ángeles, los centros de los jornaleros, acceso al lenguaje y los programas de servicio para comunidades marginadas.
Permíteme. So I am begging you humbly, members of the council, put your hand to your heart and support us tomorrow by supporting programs like Represent LA, the Day Laborer Center, access to languages, and so many other programs that support the most marginalized of the city. Adelante.
Recuerden que más del 30% de los inmigrantes que vivimos aquí en Los Ángeles hemos pagado impuestos y alrededor de 97,000 millones hemos pagado impuestos tanto al gobierno federal, estatal y local.
Permíteme. Remember that 30% of immigrants in LA pay taxes. 97,000 millions to both state, federal, local. Adelante.
Yo espero en Dios que mañana Dios les ilumine su corazón, su mente y su alma para que tomen una muy buena decisión, justa, para estos programas como el Representa a Los Ángeles con $1 millón, para los derechos de los más necesitados y que requieren ayuda en los programas más esenciales para ellos, de los cuales es un derecho justo, pues ellos han contribuido para las familias más necesitadas. Gracias, que Dios los bendiga.
Permíteme.
Great.
And so
Muchas
I'm
gracias.
asking tomorrow for God to put a light in your hearts and your souls and your minds so that you guys support us by supporting programs like a $1 million to represent LA to fight for the rights of the most in need. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Muchas gracias. Bye.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker.
Good afternoon, Andrew Salimian, speaking on behalf of the Los Angeles Conservancy. We understand the difficulty of this task you have at hand today and over the next couple of weeks. I do want to speak on behalf of two very small kind of departments, the Office of Historic Resources and the Department of Cultural Affairs, and just speak to the importance of both of these places. There's only 24 positions that are slated for potential layoffs in the plan, but we thank the committee and the public for making their voices heard and restoring many of these positions. OHR is responsible for reviewing 35 HPOZs all across the city, from Highland Park to Miracle Mile to Vinegar Hill. They approve projects, support legacy businesses, support economic development, and this is a critical economic engine. And I just want to support and highlight the Hollyhock House, our only UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it needs to remain open. It's an important place. So that's all, and thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, and thank you for extending public comment today. My name is Alex Jassett, and I'm here on behalf of Physicians for Social Responsibility Los Angeles and as a resident of CD1. First off, I want to thank the Budget and Finance Committee, and particularly Chair Yaroslavsky, for working to restore so many of the critical positions that were set to be cut, particularly within the Climate Emergency Mobilization Office, which we believe is essential to developing bold and equitable solutions to the climate crisis the city faces. We also appreciate the opportunities for public comment and for some of you paying attention, as so many of us raised concerns with the mayor's proposal and remaining cuts. CEMO represents a tiny portion of the overall budget and will more than pay for itself in terms of improved public health, climate resilience, and disaster preparedness, not to mention in terms of the grants that it can bring into the city. This is just one of the many areas where strategic investment, even in times of deficit, can yield exponential benefits to our city, and we urge you to continue to find ways to support critical functions that are still on the chopping block. We understand the difficulty and uncertainty of the city's current financial situation, and going forward, we encourage you to continue to work forward towards a more democratic and participatory budget process that reflects not just the reality of our current situation, but also the ambition of the city that we can and should be. Finally, I am also here in solidarity with the folks from UDEPSCA, and I support the continued funding of day labor centers. Thank you.
Okay, next speaker. We can.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Lionel Morris, CD6 resident. Although we appreciate the Budget and Finance Committee preserving some positions from the original proposed 1,647 layoffs, there are still about 600 that are supposed to be layoffs. We urge the City Council and the Mayor to continue looking to find creative ways to preserve these positions. At a time of crisis, we cannot afford to reduce city services to our communities who depend on you. We must ensure that the city continues to provide services to all Angelenos. So I urge the City Council to strongly consider the recommendations made by the Budget and Finance Committee and to restore city services and preserve city jobs from layoffs. Many city departments are understaffed and it causes employee burnout. We urge you to protect and preserve city jobs from layoffs. Please do the right thing. We need to protect city services. We need to provide critical essential services, especially to low-income areas. Please do the right thing. Please, democracy needs to be heard. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Gabi Sandres, and I'm a transgender woman who lives
raising my voice for transgender community immigrants. I'm a positive the HIV for more than 5 years and transmittable and undetectable. Also, I'm addicted to the drugs, clean for more than 4 years. Thanks to organizations like Bienestar Human Services for helping to me to be here standing in front of you alive and healthy through your health and prevention program that you have in Los Angeles. I'm so proud to be part, and I would like to say, if we continue giving funds for that organization who focuses on the urban vulnerable community. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon. My name is Susie Vicuna, and I'm a member of the Domestic Violence Homeless Services Coalition. I'm here to thank you for the restoration of the $4.4 million in CFID Survivor Services funding. We are grateful to the Budget and Finance Committee for recognizing the urgent need to maintain shelter and housing services for survivors of domestic violence, human trafficking, and sexual assault. With nearly half of Los Angeles' unhoused population reporting experiences of domestic violence, intimate partner violence, these services are not just important, they are life-saving. We now respectfully urge the full council to protect this critical funding in the final budget. Please stand with survivors and approve the full $12.4 million in general funds to support CFID survivor services in 25-26. We also encourage you to ensure all interim housing funds are allocated when contracts are initiated. This allows our agencies to properly plan and support our clients. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to supporting survivors. Thank you.
Hi, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Edmundo Mejía Herrera. Soy residente de Los Ángeles y soy miembro de Carecen.
Permíteme. ¿Puede repetir su nombre, señor, por favor?
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Edmundo Mejía. Soy residente de Los Ángeles y soy miembro de Carecen.
Hi, my name is Edmundo Mejía. I am a resident of Los Angeles and I'm a member of Garrison. Adelante, señor.
Para mí es importante tener el programa que representa a Los Ángeles.
For me, the program Represent LA is important.
Para que la comunidad inmigrante tenga un respaldo.
So that the immigrant community has some support.
Cuando están en situaciones de deportación, especialmente durante este tiempo.
When they're facing deportation, especially so in times like these.
Cuando son más vulnerables por los ataques del gobierno federal.
When they're most vulnerable, giving the attacks by the federal government.
Es por eso que les pedimos aprobar el presupuesto para continuar dando apoyo.
That is why we're asking that you continue the budget so that they have continued support.
Para el programa Representa a Los Ángeles.
For the program Represent LA.
Por favor, ayúdennos a ayudar. Gracias.
Please help us help. Thank you.
So the city is proposing to lay off a number of city employees, also to shutter and fold in several departments for the city. Meanwhile, the city also approved $40 million to LAPD officers to give them pensions, even though they did not qualify for those pensions. How do we have $40 million just to give away, yet you want to cut services and employees? It seems common sense now that we should be defunding the police. We should be defunding the LAPD and redirecting that money to services and to employees to maintain our city government. Why should the city employees have to pay for police's sexual assault cases, for them unaliving and killing Black and brown community members? Why should the city have to pay for that? Why shouldn't that come out of the LAPD's budget? Again, it just seems like it's common sense. My last comments will be to those who are behind me, to the folks, to the amazing organizers and organizations and community members who are here. Any city council member who votes for this budget unamended should be voted out. And if we have to vote out the entire current city council in order to get a budget that serves us, then we should be ready to do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, public comment for item 1 and general public comment is now closed. We did a bonus round. Mr. Clerk, we will now recess this meeting until, well, before I recess it, whoever is yelling out, you're all removed from this meeting. Public Rule 7, Rule 12, if you're yelling out, I'm asking sergeants to remove you. If you're yelling, you're removed, but we'll now recess this meeting until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, May 22nd, to consider the Budget and Finance Committee report relative to the mayor's budget. This meeting is in recess.